on that, and I felt I should do what I've been asked to do.
Alhamdulillah. Awatulaba oyo engineer Lawal Muhammad Maiduki gwerina yonna kulwaliro tugezaako kutulaba ebintu nga tubimenyamenya naye ojja tubanga tuga engineer because when we cannot talk about zakah in general when we have not known zakah. Can we talk about what is zakah in simple language? My viewer
well, there are so many interpretations of what is zakat according to your language, according to how simply you can understand what is zakah. But zakah is part of Islamic social responsibility.
Islamic social responsibility.
Yeah, but you know, in Islam, you cannot be a Muslim without believing in zakat. And the zakat is only given by those who have the wealth that is equivalent to a particular threshold of like 85 grams of gold, which is translated like in my own country today like about 2 million
naira.
Naira. But I don't know what it is in Uganda. You can help me to say it.
Yes.
So zakah is a compulsory annual levy, which is part of the 5 pillars of Islam, and it is so important that it is mentioned in the Quran more than 30 times.
It's mentioned in the Quran
more than 30 times. That is zakat for you. And wherever God said establish prayer as a Muslim, mostly what follows it is that you also give out zakat. And zakat is collected on wealth which has reached a particular threshold and for one calendar year.
Yeah.
And it must be equal to a minimum threshold of nisab, which I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
And then it also has to be an income used for consumption. You cannot give zakat on your car, on your house, or like if you are the owner of this television station,
yes,
the cameras you use, the house, or other things you know. These are only on income. That earnings which you have that comes to your way. Yeah. And for one good year, then you give out zakat. Some of the scholars, and majority of the scholars nowadays of the world, said also when you collect salary, you also give zakat, as long as that salary has reached a threshold of the minimum nisab we are talking about. And it will help the community when you give out zakat.
Zakah, you pay it, then it helps the community.
Yeah, there are 8 categories of people
who are supposed to get
which God has also stipulated to be given zakat. Nobody can add and nobody can reduce. Those 8 categories of people, they have no addition or subtraction. But it didn't say that when you are given the zakat, all the 8 categories you can give. No, any member of the 8 categories.
What? According, if we collect a year to today, 2022, it is also possible that we cannot give all the zakah we have collected to 8 categories. We can give to some.
Yeah, you can give to some. Some you may not even get them in your society. It depends. Yeah, for example, among the 8 categories, there are those travelers who are in distress. You may not find a traveler in Kampala in distress. So, must you have to go and find him in Kenya, or you have to go and find him in Congo?
So, you skip that one.
Yeah, you skip that one. So, and maybe if you have zakat, and among those people to be given are the poor, and the poorest of the poor. There are 2 categories of people.
Yes.
Yeah, a worker in this Salam TV may be earning less, maybe because he is maybe a cleaner.
A cleaner.
And what he earns may not suffice him. If you have zakat, you can give him something to complete what will help him. These are the people who are called fakir.
Fakir.
But miskin is someone who does not have for tomorrow. He is the poorest of the poor. So if you have 100 poorest of the poor, you cannot go and start,
looking for Ibn Sabil.
You can't. So you first of all, they are at your doorstep, so you treat them and see how far you can help them.
Yes.
But I want to say, zakat is a right of the poor on the rich.
I have not understood that. Zakah is a right of the poor on the rich.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means it is not donation.
Somebody who pays is not donating.
Is not donating, and is not a favor.
Favor.
It's not a favor. If you give somebody zakat, it's not that you are making a favor for him. It is a God's right of him to you that you have fulfilled. Not doing it, it attracts an undesirable consequences.
The beneficiary is a right.
It's a right.
For the payer is?
It's a must.
A must.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is lovely.
So that is zakat. And actually, if it is given, it improves the lives of the poor. And if it is, when zakat is collected, like all now the Muslims in Uganda decided to really collectively give out zakat.
Give out zakah.
And to really collect that zakat, let's say through the house of zakat and Waqf here in Uganda.
In Uganda.
The impact that will be felt in the society of Uganda will be so much that even the government and the people of Uganda will see it clear and will be very happy with the outcome. Because this zakat is not only given to Muslims. Even non-Muslims who happen to be in the 8 categories will be given.
Okay.
So you can now see it transcend whether religion or tribe. The only thing that Islam and the Muslims insist that the Muslim scholars, when you collect the zakat in a particular community, you have to distribute that zakat in that particular community. That is justice now.
Okay.
It's justice. But when there are no beneficiaries in that community, you can take it to the next community.
Oh, it's
simple.
Simple.
It's very, very much allowed. But start first.
To the community.
Yeah, for example, now, if you are a billionaire, and you
living in Kampala,
and you give out millions of zakat, this zakat cannot be taken somewhere else. First of all, here in Kampala, you distribute it to those 8 asnaf or 8 categories of people in Kampala. That's what the rule said. And once it is done, according to the Sharia, people will live happily. And there is a research by the Islamic Development Bank that was launched in South Africa. 5 countries in Africa were taken as a sample, and it was discovered under the Z1, Z2, and Z3 that each of it, if those Muslims who have wealth that is up to zakat, everyone almost give out his zakat, then whether Muslim or non-Muslim, nobody in that country will live below the poverty line.
It was done in Africa?
It was done in Africa.
African countries?
It was launched in South Africa.
Okay.
So it clearly...
What does that mean?
It means if zakat, the wealth we have that is zakatable and the right zakat is given, nobody in these African countries will live below the poverty line.
It will be...
Everybody can now live above the threshold of the United Nations, poverty line. $1.8 or about $2 point something for a day, that is attainable through zakat for both Muslims and non-Muslims in those countries. So some of the things that we are suffering today is because we have refused to pay zakat as it should be paid.
So you mean, engineer, that zakah is not paid as it should be paid in most of the African countries?
Most of the countries are not paying zakat as it should be because there is no law. If there are law that is backing the giving out zakat or compulsory giving out of zakat to Muslims, not to non-Muslims, then
to Muslims.
Even if we have time to speak sometime, we will speak about Waqf. You will see how even more than 40 to 50% of the government burden is taken by this very good Islamic social finance of zakat and Waqf alone. And it has done that in the past, and is doing that currently in some countries, and it can do more than in the future. And this zakat is an Islamic levy. I want you to still understand. Paid by the rich Muslims to the poor, to the deserving poor. And it's a means to purify yourself. It's a means to attain tranquility in the sight of God. It's It means to increase love among yourself.
Among yourselves.
And is a means of security. Security of life, security of wealth, and the general security of the community. Wherever zakat is practiced, God, the Almighty, who created the heaven and earth, will give that opportunity. And it is the property, it's taken from the property of a Muslim who has reached that minimum threshold. It's not that because you collect salary of X amount of money is not up to nisab and state, you have to give zakat. We will come to that. If you want to donate, it may be a cash waqf, and that will be better in building the society.
The society.
But you should know that it is distributed, not donated. It is
distributed, not donated. What is that?
You have to in charity, this salam
charity, yes.
So charity, you give charity at will, and you give to whom you want to give. Zakat, no.
You give charity to salam charity.
Yeah.
And then whoever you will.
You also at whatever and whatever amount and as how you wish. And if you like several times, if you like once in lifetime.
Yes.
If you like
several times.
Several times. So
you can give charity.
But zakat no is distributed, not donated, and also it is obligatory, and also its non-payment definitely will attract undesirable consequences from the God Almighty. So you can now understand the difference. And you have to give what is due. If you have the threshold, you divide by, you multiply by 1/40.
Yes.
So you can't say you are giving 2/40. God is not asking you of that.
He asks you 1/40.
1/40. If you want to give more than that, that is going to be sadaqah. Not zakat.
Yes.
And this zakat can be given to even someone who you like or you don't like.
You don't like. But zakah?
But zakah you have to. And when you give someone zakah, even if he doesn't like you, he will like you. He will like you. Because he has benefited from you and you have solved part of his problem.
Yeah.
And you have solved, the societal problem that are likely to erupt due to abject poverty, or due to misunderstanding, or due to the behavior of the rich.
Okay.
And you have also cleansed your wealth. You have cleansed your heart. You have also cleaned your wealth.
Okay. Abatulaba ku Salam TV mwe bali kubanga mukyatugoberera nkyali ne Engineer Muhammad Lawal Maidoki, Executive Chairman of Sokoto State Zakah and Waqfu Commission. Gwe tukyatambula naye tutunulira ensonga za zakah mu kifaananyi ekigazi. Twayagadde abeere wano nga wagenda okubanga tubeera nawaffe wano tubeere nga tumufunamu. Engineer, time is also running very fast, but our viewers may like to know how compare and contrast the Zakah perspective of Nigeria and the Zakah perspective of Uganda. For example, in terms of how they practice in Sokoto, how do you practice it, and how for us, for example, in Uganda, we don't have much so structural organizations where that it is House of Zakah, there is this, and this. When you have a mosque, at a mosque, I can take to my sheikh, my imam, and that is done. I've done my obligation, as they say, it is mandatory.
If that would have been the practice, there would be no need for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sending Mu'adh bin Jabal to go and collect zakat. And not only him, many of the companions of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam were sent to collect zakat. And in the practices of the Islamic Caliphate, there always exists a sa'i who is responsible for collection and distributing of zakat. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran clearly says to all those who believe that if I give you authority over people and I appoint you as leaders, then one of your responsibility is to make sure that you collect zakat from the rich and you also give it to the poor. But this is part of the social responsibility that every leader must do. And when you do it, you will find peace. When you don't do it, you are going to be subjected by a lot of tribulations. May God forbid.
Oh, may God forbid.
And I've told you earlier when the Islamic Caliphate led by Sheikh Usman and Fodio exists in the 18th century, in Nigeria, there is the Sa'i, who is responsible for collection of zakat and distribution. All the Islamic books of different fiqh, whether from any of the school of thought, they have concurred to the importance of collecting zakat and appointment of those in authority to collect zakat from the rich and give it to the poor.
Yeah.
And the same happened in Nigeria. But when the British came and colonized us in 1901, and subsequently we regained our independence in 1960, but yet the system led by the colonialists is still what is in practice under the democracy, whether it is parliamentarian or the American system. However, that democracy in some of the states gave the opportunity of reviving the Islamic Sharia. In the Islamic Sharia, part of Islamic Sharia implementation is to strengthen the collection and distribution of zakat among people as injunction by God, and what will help the government in discharging its duties and also bring external revenue that will assist people in attaining salvation and satisfaction in life. Therefore, in Nigeria as well, we have different kind of zakat collection.
Yeah.
Like here in Uganda, we have House of Zakat and Waqfu.
And Waqfu.
You are independent. In Nigeria, we have Lagos Zakat and Sadaqah Foundation. We have others in Ilorin and also in River State and some few other states who are voluntary, collecting zakat and distribution from the rich to the poor. And they have done very well. If I have the time, I would have given an account of such. Then there is also another system of zakat collection and distributions through the emirate, through the traditional rulers.
Traditional leaders.
Yeah, for example, I learned here in Uganda, you have His Highness the Kabaka.
The Kabaka.
Now,
King.
the king, in some of our king are also left as kings, but we call them emirs. Amirs in Nigeria, just as your own Kabaka is left. So all the emirs are responsible of collecting zakat and distribution because it's part of what they have inherited. Now, from their fathers.
So all those Muslims?
Yes, those Muslims.
Okay.
They are Muslims. Many of them are Muslims, and they are saddled with that responsibility.
Okay.
So it's collected locally, and it's
through the amirs and
within the jurisdiction of that amir. So that is another one. Then the third one, which is also one of the most powerful and the most common, is the one backed by the law, which is passed by the assembly of every respective state, not at the national level. Every state, we have what we call states, like they are bigger than district. A state has about 5 to 10 million on the average population.
Yeah.
There are some states with over 15 million, 20 million, especially Lagos and Kano State. In such circumstance, the state assembly,
it is practiced under the law.
Under the law, which is promulgated by the state assembly and assented by the governor. The governor of that state sign it into law and create commission or create board or create agency
for zakat
collection. And he appoints, like myself now, I'm appointed by the governor of the state after the assembly has passed the law, and I'm paid on monthly basis by the governor. But my responsibility to make sure that zakat is collected in every nook and crannies of Sokoto State and distributed to the poor. So I collect zakat of mal, that is collect cash and Waqfu as well.
Zakatul mal.
Yeah, and then we also collect livestock ranging from cows, from goats, and then also from camels. We do have camels there, so we also collect, from that. And then we also collect farm produce, such as the corn, the millet, the cowpea, and then granite and many others of the cereal. We also collect, zakat from there. And we also collect waqf of land, farmlands, waqf of several, useful items.
Yes.
Yeah, for example, houses. Schools. And also complete school. Someone will build and donate it as waqf, or mosque donate as waqf, or cemetery as waqf, or build some plazas and donate them as waqf? As waqf for the benefit of the whole community.
The community.
And we have also introduced the waqf of three. That is the three waqf. We call it three waqf. It's an innovation that even if you are poor, no matter how poor you are, you can do a waqf of a tree.
Waqf of a tree?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, mashallah, that is very good program.
And that will help everyone to do. And through the waqf of tree, we have what we call waqf al-walidain. That is, you do work for your father or your mother or your teacher, even whether they are dead or alive.
Okay.
That will be very useful because they will continue to earn the reward.
Yeah.
And every tree praise God.
Oh.
So when you plant something that praise God, you also get reward for that. And we have what we call waqf, tree waqf for education. And we have what we call tree waqf for newborn babies. And we have what we call tree waqf for orphan livelihood. And then we have, of course, tree waqf for livelihood of the orphans.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that we are working to see how we can make life better for the citizens of Sokoto State and Nigeria as whole under the Zakat and Waqf administration.
That is a very big question.
Our target is that every person that lives in Sokoto, whether he's an indigenous of Sokoto or a visitor in Sokoto, should have one waqf to do for the other for his life.
Oh,
whether you are Muslim or not Muslim, when you do something good, that goodness will follow you. And that goodness will translate into so many goods within the society. And by so, we are increasing love and understanding among the people of Nigeria. And that's how we come to know the House of Zakat and Waqf in Uganda.
Yeah.
And you have been a very good friends to us, and we have learned from each other. And today I'm here with you, going to learn more from your practices.
Yeah.
And I will also share with you some of our practices, and through that,
Inshallah,
we build one another. And I think the first leg is done. Here I am today in Kampala. The second leg is when we receive you in Nigeria.
Inshallah.
Maybe very soon, inshallah.
Now, there is how the government, because whatever you have talked about, that there is a government support, maybe, or state support, or...
You see, every government, whether the government is for Muslims or not Muslims, wherever the government is, the institution of Zakat and Waqf is a welcome development that today, even the United Nations has accepted Waqf and has accepted Zakat as an instrument for poverty alleviation and for also development.
Poverty alleviation and development.
Yeah, some of the very formidable Zakat institutions in the world are in non-Muslim countries.
Yeah.
If we start here in Africa, since 1974, the South African Zakat National Fund has been in existence.
Oh.
And nobody doubt in the entire South Africa the importance of Sanzab and the importance of Akafsa.
Yeah.
These gentlemen that are leading the organization, Brother Zainul Abidin Chaji and Sister Ismina Faranka, have done very well, not only in South Africa, but in the world, in terms of propagating this very noble idea of Waqf, and that of also Zakat. And through the Islamic Development Bank, institutions in London, institutions in Australia, institutions in Bangladesh, including Senegal, and many parts of the world have benefited from this Waqf that has no discrimination of religion or tribe, and is helping the poor in education, in wealth, as well as also livelihood. If we also look at the National Zakat Fund in England, in Great Britain, is one of the very formidable.
Powerful.
In fact, the example of those National Zakat Fund in England is that they are not only working in Britain. You know, their level of poverty is a little bit better, you know, than some other places. So they are extending to Australia, extending to many parts of the world. I have seen Zakat organization very vibrant in Vietnam. I've seen some in Australia. I've seen some in many parts of the world that they have been accepted and accommodated in countries that are even dominated by non-Muslims because they have seen the importance of such in contributing towards the economy and towards development of that society and increasing love and happiness among the people. So these institutions are backed, so be it in Nigeria. Our governors and our sultan and our other traditional institutions or the emirs are also backing this because they all believe it is useful. Like now, we collect millions from people and we distribute it. And now we are worth billions of naira in terms of collection and in terms of distribution. And that is a wealth added in the society which is not even budgeted by the government, but as a bonus to the government. This is through Zakat.
That was through Zakat.
Through Zakat as well.
Okay, abatulaba abali ku Salam TV ebigambo bya ngiriya biwomo kamalo bukamazi era tugihagera maso n'okwanga tubitunulira atuwe ekifaananyi ekigazi how engeri ki bakikola mu Nigeria era ndooza bw'obanga ogoberera bulungi ojja kulaba nti at least bo batambuddeko ekiseera kiwanvu okulaba nti nabalina ko batuuka. What is the perception of the communities in Nigeria about Zakah? Because that is very important.
You know, Nigeria, we are majority Muslims. And there are areas which also are majority non-Muslims.
Yes.
But everyone understands that this institution of Zakat and institution of Waqfu is a welcome development. And the practice of collecting the Waqfu or Zakat in one place and managing it is like a new idea to Nigerian communities. And they are used to the old tradition where if I have, let's say, X amount of money, I bring it out, I give this to one sheikh, I give this to one, I give them. So that practice is what they do, but you know, it's not the best.
It's not the best. Not the best practice.
Put the wealth together and see how that wealth can be shared or distributed, or in the case of Waqfu, how even it can be invested to give more benefit and return to the community.
You know, that Waqfu, I liked it. I shall talk it in length, inshallah.
So it is important that we learn that the community in Nigeria are gradually accepting this system. As I'm here, even yesterday I saw somebody paying about 250,000 naira into our account, which in Uganda is more than 7 million paid into our account. So I think people are understanding, but we are doing much like what we are doing here in Salam TV, creating awareness among the people, because when we were colonized, this institution was relegated to the background by the colonialists.
Which one?
The Zakah
institution
and Waqfu institution were relegated. And tax was put on us. You see, in some countries like Malaysia, if you give zakat, they also rebate your tax. If, for example, now Salam here TV, for example, is supposed to give, like if you know, charity doesn't give a tax, but supposing you are a company here and you are doing your tax, let's say it's 10 million, but it was discovered that you have given out 5 million zakat.
500 million.
5 million zakat. Then instead of giving 10 million zakat and 10 million tax, they will cut it and remove zakat and you pay the balance as tax.
Oh, that is how they do it.
That's how they do it. Because what are you doing? When you give zakat, what are you doing? You are helping the people, you are helping the government, you are stabilizing the polity. And it's for the benefit of the leaders and the led.
Oh, that is very cool.
Many people do not understand this. Remember, this zakat and waqf are ordained by God Almighty, who knows
As
the
better.
world, and he also knows the hereafter,
Yeah.
who created you and I, who created the universe. So he best know what suits you. It is not you that know what suits you best. He, even if you know, he knows better than you. And he gave you this system to take care of the needy among you, so that nobody should sleep hungry. And nobody should work naked. And everyone should have the basic needs of life. This, whether there is zakat or there is no zakat, you know in your head, this should have happened. But zakat is given and is regulated and is limited, and God promised to bless it. So you and I have no option. Anybody who wants to live in peace, anybody who wants to enjoy life and leave a legacy behind for others to enjoy, he has to embrace the institution of zakat and waqf. And that's why I will call on all the people here who have wealth to look into the system of the house of zakat and waqf in Uganda and come rally around that very institution, how to strengthen it, and then also how to also fund it so that it can stand by itself and it can help the downtrodden people, and it can also help in the development of Uganda, and bring in unprecedented, progress and development in the Ugandan society. This is very important, and it's a golden opportunity. If anyone miss it, probably he may regret it later. I don't hope that, I don't pray that, but anytime you see something good, try to be part of good things, because you will be very happy with it now or in the future.
Okay. Atulaba ku Salam TV olutimbe lwaffe olw'emirembe, webale nnyo kuba nti kyagenda okyagoberera. Ndine Engineer Muhammad Lawal Maidoki, Executive Chairman wa Sokoto State Zakah and Waqfu Commission. Tugenda maaso n'okutunula ensonga ezikolagana ku Zakah mu nsi yaabwe ate ne mu ggwanga lyaffe lino Uganda. Njagala kweyongerayo nga sinaba kubanga ate nkusibula. Engineer, because whenever you do the work, there is some challenges. For example, here, people say they don't want to pay Zakah because they don't know what it is doing or what it does. So, I don't know, I want you to compare and contrast and give the leeway. How the best practices.
We have to accept that from the people. Those who read psychology, they know when you are used to something, for you to change to something, even if it is better. If you are using an old car now, somebody bring you a brand new car. Even though you have taken it joyfully, you will see people going front and back, going into this old car, bringing this one. Some may even tell you that he enjoyed the old car more than the new car.
The new car.
This human being. So, but it's a matter of time. People did not understand. I want to assure you that anybody who understands this institution of zakat and doing your best to participate and support, like zakat and waqf institution, like here in Uganda and any other place, is better.
It's better.
But before you understand that, it may take time. What it requires is for the people running all zakat institution is to be just, and they must to be seen as people who are, to the best judgment of the people, are upright people. People who, when I say upright, I mean people who are not corrupt people, and they do not associate themselves with corruption. People who are contented, people who are not, they doesn't embezzle, and people who actually live a moderate life.
Trustworthy
and
people.
The people has to be seen, trustworthy in almost all matters of life.
Of matters of life.
Yeah. And if that can be established gradually, people will accept and give.
Okay.
Secondly, there should be more dialogue with those small people or the ulama who used to collect this zakat from the rich, and they don't want it to be shared centrally where everybody will benefit. So we have to take time. Everywhere they exist everywhere. And also there's a need to continue to create awareness in the mosque, in all gatherings, in the TV, in the radio stations, what is being done. If, for example, now in Nigeria, if I collect 100 million, I will declare that I've collected 100 million, and then I will also tell everybody on the screen of the television and the radio that this is how the money is distributed, and these are the people who beneficiaries are known. Okay. So, if you like, we have all the details of the beneficiaries. We have their names, we have their etc., etc., etc. So their data is there before we give them, and even after we give them, you can cross-check. So I think when we establish this unparalleled, trust within the people, there's every likelihood that people will come out to give this zakat as at when due, as well as also help in giving the waqf, and we have to continue praying, and we have to also be patient, because nothing comes just one day.
One day.
You take time to build. It is destruction that maybe you can do just in some few days or some few hours. So we are facing that problem of understanding everywhere. Yeah. We are facing the problem of a lack of trust everywhere. We are also facing the problem of management in some places. And we are also facing the challenge of lack of awareness among people. Which can be achieved through consistent, dissemination of information through all the available written platforms, print and electronic, media. And today, social media could be a very good tool for,
awareness and
creating awareness among the public on what you have collected, what you have distributed, and where you collected and where you distribute. It's only now because of some insecurity that is happening in some places that we try to shield the name of the person who gives the zakat, except if probably he is very prominent, that even if you said he has given X million zakat, nobody can chase him and get hold of him. So these are the only thing. But for those who have given also, there should be some decorum at the same time when giving. It's not because you want to give someone zakat, you have to bring him to the television, you give him to the radio, everybody take his picture, there is some level of dehumanization on it.
Really.
So some you give them quietly and secretly.
Yes, others don't want even to be seen.
But those who doesn't want to be seen, they will not be seen. But those who doesn't care, they can be seen, we can, because also people, when you don't bring the people you give people to see, they will not accept that you have given out that zakat. So under last circumstances, you show them, but you don't, take their whole body, continue sharing in the, television and social media that these are the people who benefited from this zakat, etc. Except if they want. Like sometimes if you give them the zakat, they make use of it and it builds them. They will come back and say, we are the one that we are giving the zakat. Today we don't need the zakat. We can also assist.
So that there the impact of zakat is seen.
Yeah, it's seen.
That is very wonderful.
That's also what you need to do here in House of Zakat, Uganda. You create programs, you show life to the people what you have done with the money given to you as zakat or as waqf. And you call on people to do more. And it is really important that people, even if you cannot give zakat, make sure that you do something waqf. And in the Maliki school of thought, cash waqf is allowed.
Cash waqf is allowed.
Yeah, that one we can talk it later.
Hopefully, inshallah, when we get time, when engineer is still around, there is a very big discussion around the waqf, because from our discussion, you have showed us that waqf is one of the biggest department which can help the needy.
With good implementation waqf, the government of any country will have a great relief in health and education, in road infrastructure, in water supply, and in other social intervention sector.
Okay. Tulaba ku lutimbe gagadde Salam TV akadde katutwala naye inshallah tugenda kubanga tukomekereza maaso awo. Tuli ne muganda waffe okuva in Nigeria, Engineer Muhammad Lawal Maidoki. A civil engineer is?
Yeah, I'm irrigation engineer.
Irrigation engineer.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Civil and irrigation together.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. So now, as we wind up this program today, may people love to know some of you. You said you love Uganda so much. Why do you love Uganda most? And you decided to come and be part of House of Zakah. We are handing over a project of orphanage school in West Nile, where you are going to be the guest of honor there, and as we hand over. So why?
Well, there are two things. One, we are very few in the West Africa or in the East Africa, countries that care so much about Zakat and the importance of Zakat in changing lives and contributing into the development of the society.
Yes.
So number two, we saw from the social media and the reports when we meet at World Zakat Forum and Waqfu Forum with the people of Uganda. We share so many things in common, and naturally we became good friends. And when there are issues of any political nature, even in those organizations or societies, there used to be elections. So normally, the representatives of Uganda and representatives of Nigeria, we think alike and we agree on one thing. Whether someone from Uganda or someone from Nigeria, it has always been very common. And yesterday I was saying in the vehicle, but I will not say everything I said in the vehicle, but maybe later. But for this television, there are many things common here in between Nigerians
and Uganda.
And the Ugandans. For example, we have had long history of friendship and understanding. And when there was issue of same-sex marriage in the world, and in Addis Ababa, we were threatened that in any African country who did not accept same-sex marriage would not receive aid from the Europe, etc. Ugandans and Nigerians were on the first list to say no. Even if you are not going to be given anything, let them go with it, but we cannot accept, homosexuality. And I have opportunity to attend course in Uganda, in Israel, and also in Pakistan. In each, we have met with Ugandans. And when the Africans, sometimes, by error, are being, castigated by some of the lecturers, in this issue of, black. So the Ugandans and the Nigerians, we stand on one stand, and we cooperate and collaborate, and we make sure that we defend our countries, and we defend the black race, and we do not at that time say whether you are a Muslim or you are a Christian, but we stand on the same stand. And you can also see there are many Nigerian students here who came to Uganda, learn, and what they learn here is very sound. When they go back to Nigeria, they sit for national exams in Nigeria. Most of them passed. And they speak good English, and they have good character as well. So honestly, there are many things in common, and that is why we also like Ugandans. And I come to know more of this because my daughter read here in Cavendish University, and subsequently, because of her performance and her recommendation, my son also came here and studied at Cavendish University. So I think there are a lot to mention of good things, whether at the political or religious or at geographical, issues between Nigeria and the Ugandans. So average Nigerians, so much like Ugandans. In fact, in my own state and in many parts of Nigeria, the name of people like Idi Amin of Uganda is among the elderly. The elderliest, even among the elders now, you find people who have the name of, Idi Amin of Uganda. So Uganda, it's not like if you say Mauritius. I'm not demolishing Mauritius. If you say Mauritius in Nigeria, many people ask you what it is. But when you say Uganda in Nigeria, everybody feel like he's part of Uganda, and because of the history. So that is why Today, God has made it possible for me.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm here with you in Kampala. I will learn more from you, and we will share our little experience with you.
Inshallah. And lastly, Engineer, what is the future of Zakah? Being a Secretary General of World Zakah Forum, what is the future of Zakah as far as helping the communities in the world is concerned?
Well, before that, I also want to remember, yes, I said if we have our way, we also want to see the President of Uganda, the current President of Uganda, His Excellency Museveni, to also be in Nigeria and to be awarded with an honorary degree in some of our, universities.
President of Uganda.
Of Uganda, because
to be awarded the honorary degree
is an honor. It's an honor. We are thinking honestly, because
in your state in Nigeria,
in our state in Nigeria, we want to see him hosted in Sokoto State in Nigeria if the time permit, and that will be an honor to demonstrate our unparalleled, love and commitment with the people of Uganda.
Yeah.
And on the future of Zakat and Waqf here, I will only appeal to the people of Uganda to give more support to this very important institution, because even the West have come to terms with the importance of Zakat institutions and Waqf institution in developing their society and in providing an alternative financing that is all inclusion.
Yeah.
And the future of all those who have worked in the sector now will be very rewarding.
Okay.
And a lot of good things, a lot of development, both in terms of infrastructure and in human resources development, will come to your way. In some countries, they have already gone far in that, and it's an object, it's a tool that can be used to combat poverty, that everybody will live above, the poverty line. But that's only if we wholeheartedly accept this institution of Zakat and Waqf and give our unprecedented support and all the necessary backings for the practice of Zakat and Waqf among the people or among the communities. And from what we are seeing now, there are even wealth in the Islamic Development Bank, and there are wealth all are Waqf, for Waqf, and other institutions, like for example now in Singapore, the development of Waqf in the infrastructural development of Singapore is unprecedented.
Okay.
And if we also look at in Turkey, the Waqf sector has gone into taking care of the stray animals, including the pets and dogs, and to make sure that even the animals do not go hungry. And talk less of their veterinary services, which is also offered through Waqf. And a lot of good examples are there in the world in terms of railway, in terms of construction of dams, canals, as well as farm. Today, Al-Rajihi Waqf farm in Saudi Arabia is the largest in the world, over 1 million date palm tree, and is consumed by the poor, both in Saudi Arabia and outside Saudi Arabia. Okay. Some of these very important institutions you can see with so many hotels, so many shops, so many plazas, so many hospitals are built all over the world through Waqf and also through Zakat. And that has been very helpful in the development of society and reducing the burden of governance in terms of resource mobilization. That through Waqf or that through Zakat could be achieved very easily, and if only the government understand. And I think about 50% of their suffering in mobilizing resources will be reduced through Zakat and Waqf. There are many, many examples to mention. If we have any other program,
we shall have another program.
Mentioned, yes. Inshallah, I'll be willing to mention some in clear and definite terms.
Inshallah, thank you very much, Engineer Maidoki Lawal Muhammad. But for your information, the President launched the distribution of Zakah in 2016 and put his Sadaqah in the House of Zakah and Waqfu Uganda over 400 million. So we are in support. He is supporting the activities of House of Zakah.
So if he's coming to Nigeria, he will also help us to launch our Zakat or Waqf at the same time. So
Inshallah.
We will find time to invite Mr. President. I'll be very happy to have him in our midst.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Tulaba omulungi ku lutimbe gagadde Salam TV tukwebaziza nnyo kuba nti obadde mulabi mulungi. Tusuubira nti nno obaddeko ne byoyizeemu bingi. House of Zakah and Waqfu Uganda beetu bekwebaziza. Inshallah ebisingawo abanafuna omukisa mujja mu workshop ku lunaku olw'enkya mu Hotel Africana tujja kuba tugenda mu maaso naye inshallah taala oba ne mu programu zaffe endala nga betugambye tujja kwogera ku Waqfu mu bugazi. Nze Kalungi Yahya Musafa mbadde n'omugenyi waffe Engineer Muhammad Lawal Maidoki, Executive Chairman wa Sokoto State Zakah and Waqf Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Zakah ekutuusibwako.
House of Zakah and Waqfu Uganda kulokutoola Zakah mu Mario. Eno ye Salam TV. Okumala ebbanga ddene kati House of Zakah and Waqfu Uganda yateekawo enkola ey'obwerufu mu kuŋŋaanya Zakah